Hey, hello and welcome. Welcome to the new debut of my new podcast name. Oh, it's called Off the Top Now. Off the Top Now with Scott Van Steinburg. Hello, everybody. My name is Scott Van Steinburg. And as you heard there, it is the debut, brand spanking new today, of a new title, a new name for this podcast, we'll say. First out of the gate, I did the whole My Name Is podcast, and I was playing off of the, hello, my name is Scott, but I think I'm going to move on from that nomenclature and try to find something new, expand my roots. It's kind of hard to name something until you know exactly what it is. But I can't just put stuff out there with no title, But perhaps I can, regardless. So yeah, for one podcast, talking with my buddy Trevor about his trip in Japan, it was My Name Is Podcast. But then we did a second podcast also about travel, which I'm trying to get away from. But it's just easy to talk about, especially when I'm bringing people in. Like, it's instant conversation talking about people's trips and where they've been. But yeah, that was just untitled. No shame. But I mean, it got like 5 views on YouTube, so I don't think it's the end of the world. But I was sitting and I'm trying to think, I need a name for this podcast. What are we going to do? What am I going to call it? Untitled will not fly again. So yeah, if you managed to decipher what I was saying in the beginning there, it's Off the Top is the new name of my podcast. And you might be asking, oh, Scott, what does off the top mean? What is it? What like off the top of what? You know? And for me, off the top, it's like off the top of your head. So you're probably thinking off the top would be good for improv, which I'm not really going to do. Or I like to, the first time I said off the top was when I said a joke. My friend was like, I hate that. I hate when people do this. You say a joke and then people will be like, how long you been waiting to say that one? Just came up with a dick, all right? Right off the top. Maybe this is the comedy podcast. It's not. I'm trying not to label myself because I don't even know what this is. I don't even know what life is, love, or I don't even know who I am, So this is going to be pretty broad. I'm going to see how long I can go for here because I've never, see, to say that I never have spoken to myself before is a lie. I probably speak to myself more than I speak to anyone else. But to record it and then go over it after and have to think about what I might want to say instead of just letting it flow off the top, that's a goal. That is definitely a goal. Podcasting, especially when you're doing it by yourself, you have to work on being able to just talk and ramble, which isn't always the best, but it can be, So, yeah, talking is just something I like to work on. This is what I want to do. Got some stuff to talk about, so I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna go out there and talk. The thing that I am wondering though is how long is too long of a quiet moment, like when you're talking with other people in a podcast or just conversations in general, you can pause and then maybe the other person will talk. And I listen to a lot of podcasts where it's just one person speaking. Some of them are scripted, some of them are not. And now I find myself just counting. I mean, like, is that too long? That's probably way too long. Regardless, I feel like this is stuff that only no one cares about, except for me. But to be honest, I don't even know if I really care about it either. Okay, so let's dive into it. First thing I want to talk about today is a goddamn conspiracy. That's right, a goddamn conspiracy hitting Ottawa. Am I allowed to say goddamn on a podcast? It doesn't matter. There is a conspiracy in Ottawa involving our trees, involving a particular type of tree, which is in growing popularity these days, called the Pear Chanticleer, or the Chanticleer pear, if you will. It is a member of the pear family, except it's like a dirty little genetic monstrosity. It's an ornamental pear. It doesn't even have real pears on it. It's got these cute little teeny tiny balls, little pairs of balls, ball pairs. There's a joke in there somewhere. Regardless, gorgeous tree, absolutely gorgeous tree. Being on the inside of the industry, the tree planting industry, as I am, I have the intel on what people are buying and selling. You know, I got the insider information. I'll tell you what people are buying. It's fucking Pear Chanticleer pears. Pear Chanticleer pears. People are buying them so much because, one, their size. They're going to get a max of 25 feet tall and then 10 to 12 feet wide, which is perfect. You can put that in your front yard and you don't have to worry about it ever touching the house, going too far into the neighbor's lawn or yard, driveway, nothing. Nothing. You don't have to worry about anything. The Pear Chanticleer comes and makes your house beautiful and everybody's happy. Everybody's happy. Except for this fall, I'll tell you that. And you'll probably ask me why. What is the conspiracy? Well, I'll tell you. I woke up 2 days ago in the morning and I had to wipe snow off of the car. The snow has come here in Ottawa. Whether it will stay or not, that I have no idea. I am not a meteorologist. I'm not God. I am not God. But what I do know is Pear Chanticleers, when they're leafed out in the summertime, they have a beautiful dark green, kind of got like a shine, I think leather almost leaf. In the fall time, I mean, yes, it is it's a late changer in the fall time, but it goes to like this deep, like very rich red, and then sometimes, I can't vouch for this yet because this may have just been something I've seen in a dream, but I have seen it on some of the leaves of pears that have changed before, where they flare up super red. So you go from your dark green to your dark red, and then maybe having the chance of flaring up into this like super nice, like fiery red. Well, as I said, snow has hit the ground, and any mature Pear Chanticleer tree is still green, fully leafed out, barely any signs of changing. And this is the goddamn conspiracy I was talking about. I don't have an explanation why. Are we even going to get the colors this year? You know, people pay for these trees. But, I mean, people pay for these trees for a lot of reasons. I was saying height or like the size is one. In the springtime, beautiful white flowers all across the foliage. It's gorgeous. But then spring or the fall time, that's when you want your deep reds, you know? That's when you want the fire in the trees, you know? You want it to be different, stand out. Well, right now it's different and standing out because it's the only leafed out green deciduous tree still sticking around. My buddy's dad, who I have on Facebook, posted a picture from his window because he has a Pear Chanticleer, and he was, what did he say? He was like, "You're embarrassing me," like something along the lines, "You're making me look stupid," because there's snow on the ground and the tree's fully leafed out. No signs that it even would consider changing. You know? You ever meet those people where they're so stubborn? You'd be like, "Listen, man, you gotta change. You gotta change, man, because the way you're going right now, it's not going to work. People are resistant to change, I know. But change could be good." Well, someone's got to tell that to the fucking Chanticleer pears. I bet you one day everyone's going to wake up and the leaves will just hit the floor. Or what if they didn't hit the floor? Could you imagine if like all the genetic tinkering we did with these trees and these plants, and then they just like rebelled as if we tweak their genetics so much that they had like they could evolve on an individual, not like a generational basis, and just like, no, I'm keeping my leaves now, which is all the more crazy because one of the only downfalls to the Pear Chanticleer is it's a zone 5. And for the people who aren't in the industry, these zones are hardiness zones. So zone 1 is like BAMF, badass motherfuckers, you know. That's like way up in the north, super cold. Like if you can survive there, you can survive almost anywhere, you know. As you get warmer and work your way down south towards the equator, then the zones start to go up. 2, 3. Here in Ottawa, we're a 4. Toronto's a 5, 7, 9, all the way up to 15 in Jamaica, for example. So yeah, we're a zone 4, meaning that it's a little too cold for the Pear Chanticleer to survive. Yet, I've probably planted 50 Chanticleer pears this year. Maybe hundreds in my lifetime. That's a bit of a boast. Maybe 123. Regardless, they all seem to do super well. So the fact that they haven't even considered changing yet is a little worrying, you know. Well, not really. This is a conspiracy. It doesn't really matter. I guess in a conspiracy, someone needs to conspire. So perhaps it's the trees conspiring, or yeah, I guess. Anyway, so that's been bugging me. That's been on my mind. Just waiting for these guys, because my girlfriend's father, he has one, sorry. Still fully leafed out. He has 2 actually. Still fully leafed out. Doesn't even care, you know. Can't even be bothered. But that's about it for Pear Chanticleers. Highly recommend, you know, if you're looking for a tree. That's a good one to go with. And speaking of work and being a part of the industry, I am done. I am done for the season. The Laporte's 2017 season finished on Friday. Couldn't have come sooner. It was getting a little chilly out there, working and just being cold, and you have to put all the plants away under tarps and give them their opportunity to get the dough before bedtime. Get ready for the big winter. And fuck me, man. I had one of the craziest planting or Laporte's experiences of my life in the 3 days before we were finishing. Yeah. And the week before that, this was the second time I'd been to the house. The first time, went with a little team, and we planted an orchard, which is pretty cool. He's got a house down in Cumberland, and he just woke up one day with his Russian bride and said, you know what? I think this property needs an orchard. So he bought 26 fruit trees. Apples, plums, pears, and a few cherries to spice it up a little bit. But yeah, so we went out, we planted this orchard for him, and then we were getting ready, and then he thought, you know, hey, if I'm having an orchard, I might as well have it in alphabetical order, right? And on this, I agree with him. My boss was not really having it, you know? He thought that was a little silly, but I agree. If you're having an orchard, there might as well be some order. Where he lost me, though, was when we had everything all set up, all in lines, spaced out, like huge, spread across like a pretty big area, in really shitty terrain, like old trees on the ground and rocky dirt and lumps and piles and jing-jangs and wing flangs. But where he really lost me was when he was like, you know what? We're like, what? He says, Royal Gala, it should really be under the G's. Is that so? He says, yep, and you know what? I know that I just had you guys place everything and put them in super straight lines because that's how I roll. He didn't say this, but that's what he should have said. He says, I think golden russet, that should be under R. Oh boy. So we rearranged the trees, put them where he likes it, and we just had to shift everything because everything was alphabetical order, already put out in their rows and their columns. Regardless, just trying to, build a story around. Just trying to build up some environment, some setting. So he has a pond, like a big pond. My estimation skills are rubbish. I can't even tell you how big it is. Big enough that it has an island in the middle that's probably 15 or 20 feet long by like 6 to 10 feet wide, perhaps. And when we first went there, we did planting. We put a nice standard willow up there. And we had to take the boat there, which was pretty cool. I had never taken a boat to plant something before. It wasn't a terribly long boat ride because the closest point to the island from the shore was only like 20 feet away, perhaps, No issue. Finish up our job. Guy was super nice. Gave us some great apples. Delicious. And I think he tipped as well, which was always a bonus. Tip your planters, ladies and gentlemen. Final week is approaching. Turns out he wants more. We're going back. We're planting 40 of these... what are they called? They're little crawlers, but basically it was to go on the island. It's Pashina something, Pashika. Anyways, these P things, Pash things, we'll say. And it's to be planted on his island to kind of creep and crawl all across because he's having some issues with erosion, supposedly. So the root system of these creepers are going to help keep everything intact. And then also some Arctic willows to go along one little block of the shore. Apparently this warrants enough for a solo mission, so it's just me. It's pretty cold out. It was snowing a little bit, but not too much. Show up, get all my stuff ready, go to ring the doorbell. The guy remembers my name, which I thought was amazing because I don't actually remember telling him my name, but he got it. He's like, Scott? I'm like, yep, that's me. Perfect. So we go down. Walk down to his pond, and I should have caught on that this may have been an issue later, but it's just the way he described it to me was so casual and so suave that like I was walking around with my wheelbarrow filled with all the plants, the shovels, and frozen icebergs of dirt that we have from our shop, and just walking, and he's like, all right, so the Pash creepers are going to go on the island. You'll have to take the boat. You'll have to break the ice. And then the Arctic blue willows are going to go along the side here. And we'll space them out. And then he really put emphasis on the Arctic willows. I'm like, okay, island, boat. The pond was completely frozen, iced over, unbeknownst to me how thick the ice would end up being. Start with the Arctic willows. He tells me, he's like, yeah, we'll place them all I want from this tree to that tree. Cool, no issue. He says, I got to go to work. I'm like, right on. I've got everything under control. Good to go. The guy leaves. I plant the Arctic willows. Easy. And then I take the boat, and it's like it's not like it's a canoe. It's like a metal boat, decent size. Got like maybe 2 seats in there. So I take it, and I'm like, how thick can the ice be? So I go. Or before I take the boat, I take his oar and I go to start breaking some of the ice, and I'm like, that's it's a little thick. It's a little thick. So I like maybe I can walk on this. Never expecting that I would be able to, but I'll give it a try. What's the worst that could go wrong if I just give it a little try? Take my foot. Kind of put it on the ice. Very solid. Pressure. Good. More pressure. I'm just on my tippy toe, my foot on the ground on the shore. And then I see this biblical crack like deep underneath the ice. I'm like, nope. Not gonna fly. Okay, so what do I do here? Thinking that the boat perhaps can break the ice just by shoving it into. Take the end of the boat. Lift up the back. And then charge. I get one step, and then I drop the boat because the ice is way too thick. So this spawns the predicament I ended up being myself in, hoping that this job would take me only like 2 hours max. Max. But I have to get in the tip of the boat, which is in the water. I take his oar, and I just start beating the ice, like barely breaking at all. In fact, his paddle was breaking before the ice was breaking, so I can't use his paddle anymore, so I have to use my own shovel. So I would go to the tip of the boat, break the ice. Ice would be out of my reach because I'm still mostly on the land. Get out of the boat, push the boat further another 2 feet, go to the end, just like breaking ice. Like I felt like I was Shackleton, stuck in Antarctica, just trying to survive. It's cold, water splashing all over the place. I'm getting soaked. It's cold. And then the craziest stuff was when I ended up like the entirety of the boat was in the water, but I still had ice in front of me. So then the boat was rocking back and forth, and I had my paddle, and I'm just beating as hard as I can, trying to get across to the other side. Oh my God. It probably took me 30 to 40 minutes to break the ice and just get to the island. And that was my luck that day, That was everything. I mean, at the time, it kind of sucked, but also at the time, I was aware of the fact that this is going to be a great story and one of the best work experiences of my life, even though it kind of sucked at the time, which is weird because usually when you're involved in something that you're going to remember for a while or, kind of mark as like the best of this or the worst of this, like it doesn't really dawn on you until you have some time to self-reflect after and think about what was going down, And nope, not this time. I was like, I've got 40 creepy crawly plants in the boat, some iceberg bricks of soil, some icebergs in the real water, on a boat headed to an island for some eccentric rich guy who, like, the orchard wasn't even for. Like it wasn't even to like start like a small little business, He just said personal use. Do you know how messy fruit trees are? There's gonna be fruit all over the place, and if he doesn't clean it up, it's gonna get smelly and full of bugs. But it's all good, He has his orchard, alphabeticalized, Royal Gala, Gold Russet, where they belong. And now his island has all these creepy crawlies over it, and that's good. And that's what we're going for. That's what we wanted. And that was my luck that day. Especially once I got to the island, like I only brought a crappy pair of scissors, and he put this net all across the island to help keep the erosion down or help the crawlers latch on and spread even further. But that was that really set the precedent for how that day was gonna go. Because later that day, my friend and I have these bi-yearly powwows where I change her car tires. Yeah, which is cool. It was funny though. It started because one time she texted me. She was like, "Hey, can you help me with my winter tires?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I can. Of course. I've got tools. I'm capable. I can do shit. I'm a man. I know how to work stuff with my hands. I know exactly what a hammer does and what it doesn't do." But after talking for a little bit, she kind of got the impression that we weren't on the same page. Turns out she just wanted me to lift the tires into her car so she could take it to Canadian Tire so they can change it. I was like, I can just change them for you, She's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I can. What a misunderstanding, But, so that's been 4-ish years now. And after my adventures on the boat, and it just gets dark so damn early, and the only time that I was able to link up with her, because I worked till 5, was after 5 during the week. So it was going to be dark regardless. It was cold, and I was fighting in a boat and just had a black day at work. So going into this, I was like, fuck this noise, all right? I'm going to PB the shit out of this. And I told her that. I'm like, Gabby, we're going as fucking fast as humanly possible right now. Like, I was already thinking about the sushi I was going to order to pick up. And I was like, okay, so if it takes like 40 minutes for sushi to be ready, what time should I call for it to be ready when I'm done and get there so I can go home, eat my sushi in bed, and just have some personal time, you know? Fuck. That's all I want. Some fucking personal time. But now I'm not working for the winter and I'm going to have too much personal time. And that's a little frightening. Just a bit. Regardless, Gabby's like, fuck, fine, all right, we'll do this as fast as we can. And then it all went downhill from there. Of course, the one time you say, like, we're going to do this and we're going to do it fast is when shit hits the fan. So, for whatever reason, I'm sure there's a reason. I don't actually know much about cars. I can just barely change car tires. She has these little plastic caps on her nuts, you know, on her car boats. And so those have to be taken off, and like usually you just hand tighten them, but after a year or half a year of driving, like they get too tight. So usually you take the tire iron, just give them like a clink, 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 just like a little tap, 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 and then you can just do it with your fingers. So I go all the way around the board, 4 of them come off. This is just the first fucking tire, and this last one, like I put the tire iron on top of it, and then the second I touch the tire iron, it just fucking shatters. I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Really? You're gonna shatter right now when I'm thinking about sushi? Whatever. So I go to assess the damage, try to check out, see what's going on, and I had broken off just the part that you can twist, you know, that latches into like your wrench or your tire iron. But what was still on there were the threads that keep it from falling off. So I have no way of twisting the threads, and I can't just take the bolt off because the cap is still covering, it wouldn't fit. What the fuck is that? So that's one, all right? So I'm like, all right, Gabby, do you have a screwdriver? Okay, we're just going to have to break this plastic off. It's cold enough. It should be able to break. She grabs me a screwdriver. Start like kind of picking away with the screwdriver, just picking away. And then the screwdriver just falls apart in my hands. The handle just comes right off and shatters. Sweet. That's awesome. Falls off and shatters. So that's 2 things. I'm like, listen, Gabby, your screwdriver's broken. Can I have another one? She's like, do I trust you with another one? I'm like, yes, you can trust me. I'll try. That's not even the worst of it. I should have just been like, all right, Gabby, this has been fun. We will try again tomorrow. But that's not how it went down. So it's a kerfuffle. It's dark. Gabby didn't even turn the lights on to the front of her house until we were basically done. Shout out to her dad for that bright idea. And it's cold, as I said. I'm tired. I'm thinking of sushi. I'm hungry. I'm like, I'll just eat when I'm done because I'm going to go so fast. Duh. So start with the first tire. Go to jack it up. Take the summer tire off. Roll it away into the garage. Take the winter tire, and the winter tires are a bit thicker, a bit bigger, so I have to jack it up a bit more, right? So because I'm trying to put the tire in, like, it's not enough, right? So I go 1 with the jack and 2 with the jack, and then that's just enough for the car to roll back. The jack slips out. The car lands on the tire. I was able to just clear my knees out of the way. And then we had an oh fuck moment. The jack was completely pinned under the car. The wheel that we were trying to place, the winter wheel, was stuck there as well. And yeah, what now? Can't get the jack. Definitely can't lift the car. I mean, it's a Pontiac Sunfire, but I'm, me. Although I say that, weighed myself for the first time in a long time at the gym today, and I had to get a second opinion. Straight up. I saw it. I looked at it. It was one of the old school weights or scales where you have to move move the little the little pound guy over. No. And you have to move him over, and then you see how much you weigh. And it was clocking at 168. I was like, excuse me? Last time I checked, which was a long time ago, because we don't actually keep a scale in the house. My mom doesn't really believe in them. I was telling people I was like a $152 soaking wet. That's like 3 weight classes down. Second opinion. Go over to my girlfriend's house. She has a scale. 167. Take away that pound for the pants. Huh. Why? Oh yeah, lifting Gabby's car. Yeah. Anyways, so that's what I weighed. Sharing is cool. Now you know, and that's half the battle. Okay, so Gabby's car. So what do you do when your jack's under the car? She has like an old school like German father too, and like I can't let him down. And to make things worse, she's like, we gotta fix this before he comes home. I'm like, when's he coming home? I don't know, but he'll be home, and he'll fucking kill you. He's actually a super nice guy. I don't think he would kill me, but I just don't want to let him down. I don't like letting down male figures because I was always letting down my dad. Just kidding. Or maybe not. That's for him to decide. Wow. That was not needed. All right. Gabby's car. So when in doubt, there's a few decisions you can make in life when you're in trouble, in a predicament, in a sticky situation. And one of the best decisions you can make is to call Nick Lawson. He's got a good head on his shoulder. He knows a lot of things, especially about cars. So we call him up. We're like, Nick, man, the worst has happened. We got to get you over here with your jack to give us a hand. He's like, oh, okay, I could come over, and I'll leave in like 10 minutes or so. It's like, Nicholas? Well, it feels weird calling him Nicholas, because that's, like, I've only ever heard his parents call him Nicholas. Maybe a football coach, perhaps? Rugby coach, sorry, but Nicholas. I think I'd like to call him Nicholas more, actually. Nicholas. Anyways, I was like, Nicholas, this is an emergency. You will have to come as soon as you can. No time for dilly-dallying, all right? He's like, all right, I'll be there soon. He still dilly-dallied a bit. And his excuse, he was taking out the trash, taking out the garbage. Like, that probably could have waited. But then again, I'm not Nicholas, Maybe that was a dire situation for him, Maybe it was do this or you're kicked out of the house, Nicholas. No, his parents would never do that. They got a new dog. In the house named Angus. It's a good time. It's good times at the Lawson household. Anyways, that doesn't matter. So Nick comes over. He's got his jack. Show him the situation. He's like, why are you doing this in the dark? I'm like, I needed your help, Nick. All right? I don't need your judgment. Thanks. Great kid, though. Great kid. So we use his cute little car jack, and we free my jack, and then it was good. We worked as a team, and we solved this puzzle together. And then he stuck around. We switched all the tires out because I can't be trusted alone. And yeah, it was good. Ordered my sushi, went, picked it up, ate it. And then the night was saved. So that was all in one day. That was a pretty eventful day for me, actually. A lot of stuff went wrong. I don't know what I'm most torn up about, Probably the screwdriver. That's the only thing that I can't fix. But in the grand scheme of things mattering, doesn't really matter that much. And that's been my life recently. Chanticleer pears freaking me the fuck out. Not working anymore, which is cool. But cool for now. I was looking. I think the thing is at Laporte's, everyone's good stuff, you know. But the second it becomes October 1st, it's kind of like, all right, let's get to the end of this, shall we? Let's get that winter vacation for all these lifetime seasonal workers. And yeah, next year I'll be back, barring any unforeseen circumstances. And because I have a good time there, I have a good time working there. What really kicks me though is when people ask me how long I've worked there, like when I'm at a job, and be like, oh, if this is my 3rd year, I'll probably be back next year. They're like, oh, you must love like working outside and just digging and doing whatever. I'm like, if I'm being honest with you, and I said this to my boss as well, I'm like, if I'm being honest, I fucking hate physical labor. All right, I hate manual labor. I hate hauling wheelbarrows up hills and listening to rocks fall into wheelbarrows. Nothing gives you sets you up for like a bad day when you've got 6 buckets of Riverstone and you just empty like from metal to metal wheelbarrows. It's just loud and annoying and it's heavy. What I like are the plants, learning about the trees, and the design. When we go to a customer's house and the front yard looks like shit, and then we leave and it's like super tight with like new plants and it's fucking mulched, rocked, edged, gorgeous. That's what I like. But even above that, it's learning about the trees and the plants and that whole that's what I like. If I could sit at the info desk, which I can't because 1, I don't know anything, and 2, I'm not French. Then that's goals, just sit there and talk plants with people. That would be nice. At least that's Laporte's goals, but we shall see. We shall see. Been to the movie theaters a lot recently, which is not normal. The amount. November has been a busy November, and I'd say October as well has been a busy movie period for me. I just saw Justice League not too long ago, and I had a really good time with it. That's my favorite DC movie out of this new DCEU they've came out with. Fuck. I was like, all right, if I'm going to sit down and do this podcast, I better eat, get a good breakfast in me, because that's something I'm trying to work on, is actually having a decent diet and eating food. But then I ate and then jumped straight into this. So all the talking, I'm getting some burps and I hate that word. I hate that action. So the fact that it's here now for everyone to hear, it's a really eye-opening experience, I saw Justice League. It was one of it is my favorite DCEU movie, much more than Batman versus Superman. Man of Steel was fine. Henry Cavill's forever body goals. All right, I don't know if you have seen me with my shirt off, but it's pretty disgusting. All right, it's very hairy, and you look at all these jacked people; they're just so smooth, Henry Cavill, same with Hugh Jackman, but I tend to be more pro Henry Cavill's body. That is a hairy, gorgeous body. And Justice League was cool. I don't want to go too much into it, but The Flash was an all-star. The comedy is bar none. Aquaman, super excited for his movie. Henry Cavill, who's in the movie, of course, as Superman. I don't know if a lot of people know this story, but the director of Justice League was Zack Snyder. In March, I believe it was, his daughter committed suicide. So he and his wife, Deborah Snyder, I forget her name, but she was a producer on the movie, and they said, it's too soon still. We can't come back to finish. Like we've got to do our own thing, which I commend them completely, you know. And Warner Brothers, to their credit, gave them the choice. They're like, listen, like, if you can't come back, that's fine. Do you, you know? Like we 100% get it. We'll work it out. They said, thanks. We'll take the time. They had Joss Whedon come on to, he was just to direct the reshoots, which there turned out being a lot of, and then to direct just like the posts, the editing, you know. But because there were so many extra reshoots to be done when Joss Whedon came in, the reshoot schedule was extended much further than it was supposed to be, and was like, I want to say $70 million like over budget, like additional. I could be way off with that number, but if you're taking anything away from this, take away the fact that it was a lot, okay? It was a lot. But there was a teeny tiny little hiccup in the fact that Henry Cavill was acting in the new Mission Impossible movie they're filming, and in that movie, he is contractually obligated to have a badass mustache. It's in his contract. He can't cut it. He can't do anything. I think that movie is with Universal, and so because these reshoots, there it is. These reshoots were extended. Oh man, see, this is what I talk about when I say, just talking for me, I find has become difficult for me since I've not had to do it so much. Like I'm really stuttering, I'm really lost for my words, and really trying to think to get recall back. So that's why this is for me. All right. I always thought it was for you, but in the end, it was for me. Reshoots. So because the reshoots were extended much longer than they're supposed to be, Warner Brothers was like, hey, Universal, listen, we kind of screwed the pooch here, and it's a funny story, but is it possible Henry Cavill could shave his mustache off? Because Superman can't have a mustache, and we need our Superman. And Universal said, fuck you, buddy. Sucks to suck, but you got yourself in the situation. Our movie, we care about more than your movie. So in saying that, Warner Brothers was forced to do the only logical decision, and it was to CG out the mustache every scene that they reshot. And guess what? It shows. I mean, now that you know it's there, I don't know if, honestly, hard to say. I think, like, I went and saw it with my girlfriend Monica, and she definitely noticed it a lot more than I did. I feel like I just chose to not focus on it. But I think even if I didn't know, I probably would have been able to pick up the fact that, like, his fucking upper lip is not real. It looks fake. It's an imposter. Yeah. But Justice League was good. Saw Thor Ragnarok. That was even better. The comedy was out of this world. Taika Waititi is a New Zealander. His directing and then also playing of Korg, which is a motion cap character of his, is fucking so funny, man. Oh my god. Like tears. Like when there's a joke in a movie and then both like myself and Monica like fucking jet forward, and this, like, when I saw it with her, it was the second time. Like, I'd seen these jokes already, but when you like lurch forward, like crying, and you just like look at whoever you're with and you're just laughing in each other's faces because you're like, did that really just happen? Like, this is so fucking funny. Like, if you have seen it, his little bit about revolutions and pamphlets floored me the first time and the second time. It was good stuff. I bring up movies though because there was one movie that I wanted to chit chat with you guys a little bit. I don't know why I made the noise with that envelope. That has nothing to do with the movie. And I dropped it on the keyboard. This is a fucking disaster. Okay. Fucking bring yourself back, Scotty. Bring yourself back. You're almost done. You made it to 45 minutes so far. We'll try to keep this. I think try is easy. We'll definitely keep this under an hour because the other podcasts have always been 2 and no one listens to them, which is fine. But maybe people be more prone to listen to them if they were a bit shorter, you know? Movie I wanted to talk about is a smaller film. I went to the Bytown Cinema here in Ottawa, the nation's capital. And yeah. It was a good movie. It was probably, Thor was really fucking good. In my opinion, Thor was really good. But Loving Vincent, which is the movie I saw at the Bytown, might be my favorite movie of the year so far. Trying to think of what else came out this year, but it probably is. And you're probably asking, hey, what's Loving Vincent? Well, I'll tell you, all right? Listen up. This movie, each frame is painted with acrylic paints, and it takes place 1 year after Vincent van Gogh had killed himself. And our narrator, or our main character, is trying to deliver a letter that Vincent wrote to his brother. So he's trying to track down Vincent van Gogh's brother. So he goes to Paris, and then he goes to, north of Paris, where he spent a lot of time and died. And he'd basically gone around, and then at first he starts off as a Vincent van Gogh critic, like, oh, he was just some crazy madman. Like everyone thought, no one appreciated. But then slowly, when he starts picking up kind of more of the events that happened like before he died, and some of the stuff he was going through, and the interactions he had with the people around, he starts developing like this appreciation and wonder for Vincent, and kind of he just trying to understand what happened, because a lot of people, and this was something that the movie brought to my attention, was there is some mystery around Vincent van Gogh's death. See, I said Vincent van Gogh. Apparently that's how you say it. And that's how they say it in Loving Vincent as well. But everyone says Van Gogh. And I feel like if I say Van Gogh, I just sound like a douchebag. I'm going to try to say Van Gogh. And if that makes me a douchebag, then so be it. Maybe I'll be a douchebag then. Regardless. I did not realize that, because I knew that he killed himself. And I thought that was it. But what this movie did was, and I was nervous when I was watching it, because I was afraid that they were going to throw like this Hollywoodized, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like when you bolster something more than it is to make it more like Hollywood, more TV, sensationalize. I thought they were going to try to sensationalize his death by putting like this whole mystery and like, oh, maybe it was a murder. Turns out, no, it's all true. And you know what? I think it may have been a murder. I cannot recommend this movie enough. It is a little jarring, maybe, because every scene is painted. It's, if you were to equate it to film, it's like 16 frames per second, so it is a little choppy. But you see like dabs of paint moving around, like these, all like in the style of Vincent van Gogh's paintings, and it's fucking gorgeous. And the score they put along with it, and all the characters in this are people who Van Gogh had painted. Like each character has a painting affiliated with him, because Van Gogh would just fucking paint anything all the time. And I can honestly say this movie brought me to tears at some of the scenes, because it was just so powerful. And honestly, all it is conversations. Like our main guy going, meeting this person, and talking about Van Gogh, and then meeting this person and talking about Van Gogh, and you slowly try to work out what the final days were for Van Gogh, and it is remarkable. I mean, one scene in particular, like my favorite conversation, and please go out and see this. Support, I think it was like 200 artists over like thousands and thousands of hours who put this together, and I cannot recommend this enough. If you are a fan of film, cinema, art, Vincent van Gogh, or feeling feelings, go see this film. It is phenomenal. I can't, and I'm getting all worked up just thinking about it. You know, I think that alone solidifies it as my favorite movie of the year. But my favorite conversation he had was with a art dealer or a art supplier. Yeah, it was an art supplier, and just his description of Van Gogh, and he's like, you know, he tried to do this, it didn't work out. He tried to do this, it didn't work out. This occupation, that, like, he couldn't fit in. You know, his frequency was never buzzing at the same frequency as everyone else's. And it's just fucking tragic, man. Like, I remember in grade 12, I went because I did the announcements, and I'd write the scripts, and I threw in this little tear about Van Gogh and how it's I mean, can you imagine trying so hard to do the thing you love and then just being shat on like your entire life, and then you die, and that's it for you. You know, you die thinking you were a failure, and now, like, the amount of fame he has, which I'm not saying that's what he was looking for, what he was going after. You know, I don't think any artist should go into their art hoping for fame. But recognition, I think, is what he would have appreciated, or appreciation even for what he was doing, you know? But yeah, just this one conversation where the guy illustrates how he failed at doing this job, he failed at doing that job, and then the music, the music swells up. And then he says, and then at the age of 28, Vincent van Gogh for the first time picks up a paintbrush, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That is amazing. Like, just highlighting the fact that he started so late, which, I mean, I'm not really an artist. I'd sure love to be one, you know, but I think that goes not just for artists in any medium, but for any occupation or hobby or skill. It is literally never too late. I mean, I know, like, 20, 28, if that even is the age, maybe it was even older, to be honest, in his 30s. I gotta find out now. I can't give you false information. When did Van Gogh start painting? It is never too late. There you go. Yeah. Vincent van Gogh didn't start painting until he was 27 or 28. He died at 37. 10 years, we'll say. 900 works. Fuck, man. Fuck. I mean, starting so late, dying so young, but just meticulous, like, beating at his craft, you know? Painting anything and everything. Like, and the movie illustrates it perfectly. Like, it would show a scene where it's like torrential downpour, and you'd see Vincent out there with an umbrella trying to paint just the way the skies were, you know? It's a beautiful film. It is a great film, and I can't recommend it. I can't recommend it enough. So yeah, that's I'm happy we got to chit chat about that, because I'd wanted to get that out for a little while now. Go and see Vincent van Gogh's movie, Vincent van Gogh's movie about him, I guess. It wasn't really his movie. But yeah, go ahead and go see that. It's Loving Vincent. You can probably catch it at the Bytown Cinema or Mayfair, perhaps. Mayfair Theaters. Just a Google search for Loving Vincent Ottawa showings, and something will come up. It is honestly worth it. It is beautiful. Even if you fucking don't give a shit about the story or Vincent van Gogh or anything. Like, aesthetically wise alone, it's gorgeous, you know? And yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there. That seems like an appropriate thing to do. What can I leave you with? This has been like the third podcast I've posted in a row now. I'm not done with video. I love doing videos. It's just so easy to do podcasts compared to videos. Like, I don't have to deal about lighting. Oh, excuse me. Oh my God, round 2. That I have to worry about though is can't retake, and that is something that terrifies me for podcasts. You press start and then you just fucking hope for the best. There is no round 2. No, I've got a few ideas for videos that I'd really like to get out and do. More podcasts, hopefully, just because I like the medium. My only issue is those like, whoa, where do I post them? Apparently, it's a really big faux pas to post these to YouTube with no video, but I can't sustain fucking shooting video of my face for like an hour uninterrupted. Like just with batteries and space, and it's just I don't want to deal with it right now, at least, you know. But I'm still gonna post this to YouTube, you motherfuckers, which is fine. Which is fine by me, you know. I would like to post this to a place where you could download it though, like just the audio. But Spotify, I don't think will let me, which would be cool because I'm very pro Spotify. I don't know how to post to iTunes, which I can look into, but I think I also can't just post there yet, at least. And fucking, I listen to all my podcasts on Podbean. It's an app. I recommend it. But to post, you have to have an account, and it's like $10 a month. And I might do that because I don't know. But is it worth it though? Who's to say? This stuff I got to work out when I'm not live on the air. This is radio free Scott, RFS. Fuck, I would love to have my own radio station. I wonder if you could, but you'd have to. I don't know anything, you know. I don't know anything, but if I could find like some static, like in between some stations where I can just like pump in my radio station where I could just talk and play music, that'd be sick. But I'd imagine radio stations have to have licensing for playing music and stuff, which I would not get. At least not yet, you know. Always believe in yourself. What else is going on? So yeah, videos soon, hopefully. I am doing a Movember. It's on my Facebook page. I've kept this mustache, which I love. The girlfriend doesn't, which is unfortunate because I would hold on to this look for a little while. And maybe if we made a film together, Monica and I, we would have to CG out my mustache, just like Henry Cavill. #body goals. #CGI mustache. So if you want, feel free to kick some money there. Access to it on my Facebook page. I don't think I've received any donations yet. I haven't really advertised the best though, I guess. And with that, I will call this an end. Off the top, let's see how long I stick with that title. Honestly, I like it though, and I don't know if names matter. They do. Who are we kidding? It's funny how content and substance and like the real meat of what you're making is always what matters the most, you know. And I equate this perfectly to craft beer because I've been exploring the craft beer world this past year. What matters is the taste, you know. Do I like drinking this beer? But when I am walking down the aisles and there's all these craft beers, what's going to get my attention is like the can and if you got a sick fucking name, all right? And then I'll try it. And maybe I'll hate it, but at least I'll try it. So I do think names and titles are important. Off the top. Okay, that's enough. It's been a very productive day. It is only 3:09 p.m., so more productivity to be done. Have yourself a lovely morning, day, night, And I mean, hopefully I'll see you again. You know, I don't want this to be I don't want to be locked down in this relationship. You know, I don't want you to expect anything from me, and I won't expect anything from you. All right? Okay. As long as we're clear on that. Goodbye, everybody.